You're live.
Good afternoon. We're grateful that you have taken time out to come and witness a presentation from Trophy of Life. We are a nonprofit organization where our mantra is to render hope and encouragement. We give a shout out right now to our president and CEO, Portia Wheatley, and we appreciate the fact that she has given us an opportunity to come into your airway this afternoon. This afternoon, I am so excited. First of all, let me introduce who I am. My name is Billie Morgan-Jackson, and I'm a board member of this prestigious organization. I am so excited that today I get to have a conversation with someone who's very close to my heart. She is one of my first cousins, Demetria Frierson. We call her D or Big Mama. But she and I are going to have a conversation today, and we're going to talk about having victory in the midst of challenges. I'm going to pause for a moment and let Dee introduce herself, and she's going to tell you a little bit about herself. Dee?
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And for those that are getting up, good morning to those who are listening on the West Coast as well. My name is Demetria Frierson Dash Staggers. I am from South Carolina. The Carolinas. And I'm from Georgetown. I'm a mother of two. Um, and extra, my sisters. I have two sisters. And as Billy said, I'm her first cousin. And I am Big Mama because I was the baby of the whole group before the other little ones came in. Um, and I am a survivor. I am a survivor. I am a
Yes.
survivor. So we're going to get into what I'm a survivor of. So I'll let Billy take us through this conversation. And if y'all hear something saying roof, that's my big baby in the background back there. I'm sitting on the porch, but she's in the house. So if y'all hear something, don't pay her no attention.
Okay,
She
okay.
wants she wants
Um,
to come outside with grandma. She
oh,
wants to
she
come
wants to
outside.
hang with you, but she
Yeah,
can't hang today.
no, she can't hang today. No.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much. We're going to have a conversation about challenges and how we still maintain victory in the midst of challenges. I paused to look up the word challenge, so it will give us a vector of thought and point us in a right direction. One of the definitions of challenges that it involves us facing difficult or intractable situations that require effort and determination to overcome.
Mhm.
Life is filled with challenges. As
Yes.
we keep living, we will embrace challenges.
Yes, we will.
No doubt about it. Challenges that may involve physical challenges, it might involve mental challenges, it might involve financial challenges. Challenges are a part of everyday living.
Exactly.
But we want to talk about the fact that even in the midst of those challenges, there's still victory.
Yes, it is.
So let's bounce off from that. Let's talk about, and I'm going to open it up to you. Let's talk about the various challenges that you may have encountered throughout your life, how it's affected you, how you found victory in the midst of it. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Um, Challenges. Oh my God, honey. I have been faced with plenty challenges. To start off, on June 27th, 2015, if you can recall, Billy, um, that was the day that we had Daddy's funeral.
Yes.
We got back to the house and you all were just helping me out with everything, cleaning up and everything. And I got rushed to the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack. Well, I did have a heart attack. And that was my first challenge. I didn't get to see Daddy's burial that later on because I was still in the hospital. They admitted me. I found out that I had CHF, congestive heart failure. I was having chest pain during that whole week until everything was over. God saw me through that. I still got the victory on that part because I could have been going the same day. But, and I said, God. So I made it through that. Once I found out that I had congestive heart failure and they had fluid around the heart, the doctor came in and told me that they were going to draw fluid from my heart. Well, that Monday, uh, this is how God works. That Monday, they was ready to draw. They was ready to draw the fluid from my heart. Well, lo and behold, the fluid was behind my heart. So, with that being said, I said, but who God? Victory came through. Victory came on that. He said, Demetria, I can't do this. I was on the table stretched out like Jesus on the cross. And yes, I was ready. They was ready to go ahead and do. He said, Demetria, I can't do this. He said, one reason is that your fluid is behind your heart. And he said, if I went in with this needle to pull it out, uh, what could happen is that I could puncture your heart. And that would not be good. And I told him while I laid on that table, I said, no, it wouldn't be good for me. And it sure would not be good for you. Because I got a fleet of people who will come and beat you up if something was to happen to me. So he said, well, he couldn't do it. Well, I told him, I said, I know a man that can. And I pray to him every day and every night. So they sent me home. At this point, I had lost a lot of weight from being in the hospital. They had drawn a lot of fluid off me. I went from being a weight of 306 to 179. So the diva had went from diva plus to a small diva. Okay.
But you
So
were still a diva.
I was still a diva. I was still a diva. Well, it got to the point where I was still feeling bad. I was still feeling bad. And then I went to my cardiologist and he said, I'm going to send you to a specialist that probably who can take on this task. So I went to this doctor. He was a vascular doctor. I went to this doctor and he said, oh, I can do this. So I questioned him. I said, if this other doctor said he couldn't do it. He said, I've been doing this for a long time, ma'am. And I know that I can do it. I said, well, what makes you think that you can do it? And he couldn't do it. He said, because I know a man that taught me how to do it. And I said, you know a man? He said, yeah, he sits high. And I said, oh, but God,
But God.
but God. So on October 12th of 2015, that same year, I had a pericardial window done. And that is where they actually opened up my chest and made way for the fluid to drain into my stomach. They didn't have to do no putting a needle in it. He just opened up my chest and made way for the fluid to drain into my stomach. Well, with that being said, I still end up having fluid on my lungs. So they drew out two big soda bottles of fluid from my lungs. So if you know, like the 2 liter soda bottles,
Yes, ma'am.
those two were filled with fluid from my lungs. So not knowing, and this is how it goes, not knowing. So later on, while I was in the hospital, this is during a 100-year flood. So just imagine I could not come home because I couldn't get home because of the flood that we had in our area. I was still in the hospital. recovering from the surgery. Family couldn't come to me because they couldn't get over. Um, so with that being said, I had 3 doctors to come into the room and ask me, did anybody ever tell you about lupus?
Wow.
I heard the word lupus and I said, I know my cousin, she died from lupus. Honey, I freaked out. Billy, I freaked out. I said, oh Lord, I'm about to die. I said, Lord have mercy, Jesus. They're telling me I got lupus. I don't know what I said. Dorfina, she had lupus. I'm about to die. So they never came back to me about it anymore. I had 3 doctors to come and tell me that. Did anybody ever tell you about lupus? Did anybody ever tell you about lupus? And I'm like, Lord, what is this all about? Fast forward, they sent me to a rheumatologist. I fast forward before I got to the rheumatologist. Um, I got a prescription to appointment to see one. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we've been in a you know us Friersons, we have a tendency of we got it in our head that well, I know that I got arthritis, so I ain't know why they sending me to an arthritis doctor. I got this. Well, what happened to me was I saw rheumatology. I'm like, okay, I know I got arthritis. So why is you sending me to this doctor? You know, not knowing that these doctors deal with connective tissue disease as well.
Gotcha.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. Let me interject something before you continue.
Mm-hmm.
So you were met with one challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Even in the midst of the one challenge, you found victory, but right behind it comes another challenge.
Uh-huh. Yes. And
But
that
you still
challenge,
held on to the fact that you had victory
I
in
had
spite of what the report was.
in spite of and still smiling through it all.
Okay, okay.
Still
All
smiling,
right.
still
Now, what I
smiling.
should what I should interject here to our audience is Dee does have a medical background. So
Yes.
it wasn't like she was in a situation where all of the news she was given um, that she was oblivious to. My cousin does have a medical background. So
Yes.
go ahead, sis. I don't want to interrupt your story. Go ahead.
Yeah. So when they saying all of this stuff right here, I'm like, okay. So before then, when I left Trident Hospital, before I left Trident Hospital, I told the young lady that my body was hurting real bad. So she said, well, we're going to get a physical therapist. And they had me walking up and down the hall. And I said, I couldn't sit down right. So I was like, oh God. She said, you don't have hemorrhoids. I'm like, well, something going on. Well, anyhow, um, I got home and I ended up going to my family doctor. And I told him about the situation. And he was like, I'm sending you straight to the emergency room because you don't need a wound doctor. What happened was I had a bed sore that was from the inside out. It was working from the inside out. Here's the challenge. I went in for one thing at the emergency room. Okay, this is a challenge, y'all. I went in for the wound. Got there for the wound, found out that I was going into kidney failure. Yes, I was going into kidney failure. So let me tell you how God works. Because I was going into kidney failure, I thought about my daddy. My daddy was on dialysis. And I was like, Lord, I got to go on dialysis. Daddy struggled with it. I didn't want to go through that. I didn't want to go through that. My creatinine, if you all know what creatinine is, it's the number for your kidney function. My kidney function was about to shut down itself. Everything's like my body was about to close itself down. It was about to close itself down. My creatinine number was 9 plus, over the limit. I went in for them to check the wound, pack the wound, send me home. I ended up being admitted to the hospital. Before I got admitted to the hospital, I used to work at the hospital. One of the young ladies came to me, who was a lab tech. She was getting ready to draw blood. She looked at my fingers. She said, "Do you got lupus?" Fourth time I've heard the word lupus. I asked her, I said, "Can you run this test?" And she said, "I can't run the test with the blood I'm drawing, but you have to ask the nurse, to ask the doctor, the ER doctor, can they run it for you?" I said, "Okay." The doctor comes back to the room, and I said, "Can you run this test, a lupus test on me?" And she said, "Sure, I'll put it in the order." Well, she runs the test. After she runs the test must have came back positive. And the doctor, the hospitalist that was there, he was like, "I need you. Did anybody tell you about a rheumatologist?" There again, that name comes back again. I said, "Yeah." I said, "But we were playing phone tag." So he said, "Before I leave here tonight, I need you to have an appointment already set for them, because there's nobody here in Georgetown that can see you, because you are you have a complicated case."
Wow.
I'm like, okay, I'm in renal failure. I got a wound. I'm a heart patient. Okay, Lord, here I am. I got a child in college, one in high school, getting ready to graduate from high school. I need you, Jesus. I need you. Right then and there, my life changed. My life changed. I got fired while I was in the hospital.
Challenges.
Challenges. I got fired while I was in the hospital from the company that I was working with. I told them they had to do what they had to do, but I got to take care of me. I'm like, "Lord, I don't know how you're going to fix it, but I know you're going to fix it. You brought me through something before, and I know you'll bring it through me again. Bring me through this again. You didn't bring me here to leave me. I know you got something better for me on the other end." All I can say is, to make a long story short, I'm here and I'm happy. I have joined a lupus sorority, Lambda Sigma Sigma Lupus Sorority Incorporated, which is one of the first, the first women's lupus sorority on this side. We were the first. There are several others, but we were the first. And this group has helped me with every issue I've had, the challenges that we face. You got women that are like-minded. Any issue that I've had, from me having to learn to walk after I had to go when lupus attacked my heart, lupus attacked my lung. I've been on the vent twice in 1 year. I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to feed myself. I had to learn how to be able to just balance myself. And all I can do is say, "Lord, I thank you." Because if it had not been for him, if it had not been for him blessing me with family, such as my family right here, and these other ladies that he placed in my life, I don't know where I would be. I really don't know where I would be right now. You sit in the house, you feel like you're going crazy. You're faced with challenges when you can't move, you can't do anything. You be like, okay, this ain't right. Something ain't right. You starting it mentally, you're losing it. because you can't focus. Sometimes you just have to be like, okay, I got to get out of this house. Luckily, you didn't see me on the road riding today, Billy. Because be like, okay, we're gonna do this video while I'm in the car ride, because I got to get out of the house. That's not one of those days today. I done ride for enough this week right here thus far. So it's
Gotcha.
like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
It's
So, in
like,
the midst of all of your challenges, even though you overcome and something else hit, in the midst of the challenge, you still realize that you had victory
yes.
because you referenced earlier that there were times when you didn't know what to do,
Mm-mm.
but you turned to the source of your strength.
Mm-hmm.
There were times that you didn't know how to maneuver,
Mm-mm.
but you turned to the source of your strength,
That's it.
who enabled you and sent people there to assist you.
My heavenly angels, my
You,
earthly
you,
angels.
a lot of people don't understand that sometimes when we're in the midst of challenges, that we have to rely on the strength of Him
Mm-hmm.
to take us through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in the midst of all of your challenges, God has been faithful.
Yes, he has.
He has been
Yes,
consistent.
he has.
Um, I believe that in the midst of your challenges, your faith has been strengthened.
Yes, it has.
In the midst of your challenges,
Yes, it
I
has.
believe in the midst of those challenges, you've been able to share about your experiences and your faith and to encourage and give hope to others.
Yes.
I believe in the midst of that. One of the key things I want you to zoom in and talk about, because you're talking about your current challenge. You recently were able to go to Washington, D.C.
Yes, I was.
and to give a presentation to Congress. Talk about that.
Well, we went to our organization, our sorority, just recently went to Washington D.C. To Capitol Hill to meet with our legislators, our senators, and to talk about finding a research to find a cure, find funding for lupus. And some of our sorority sisters got to meet with their representatives for their state to put it on the board like, hey, we need this help. We
Mm-hmm.
need this help. We need funding for lupus. I'm not knocking, and then I please understand when I say I'm not knocking anybody who has cancer. I had family members that had cancer that suffered, and they fought they fight with cancer and still is fighting the fight with cancer. But we need funding for lupus just as well,
Mm-hmm.
because it's taking us out. It's taking us out. We just recently lost one of our sorors to the battle, and that hurt because this young lady, she was the age of my daughter, and I called her my baby girl. When I look at things like that, it just puts me in the mind that we got to continue to fight. We got to continue to put our voices out there. We got to continue to tell Congress, look, help us find a cure. Help us get the money in, because our medication is costly.
Mm-hmm.
Our medication is costly. Some of us have to go, like, you will see me once a month, every 28 days. I got to get infusion. That infusion does not come cheap. We need help. So that was the reason for us going to Capitol Hill, dressed in our blazers, looking good, us being divas, you know, being divas on Capitol Hill, but to actually talk to our representatives and telling them, look, we need this funding. We need research. We need you to hear our voice, and we're going to speak it loud and clear so you can get it into you that we need this. And it doesn't stop there. It
Right.
doesn't stop there. We're trying to get it on the local level, even with our governors, even with our state senators. It doesn't just stop there. we got to get somebody to understand that we need this funding. You know, we need you all to hear us. With this platform, it's like, okay, we on this, we turned Washington DC out in the purple. You understand what I'm saying? We turned it
That's
out.
why, look, that's why I wore the purple today.
Yeah, honey. Well, we are blending
Oh,
with the colors. We're blending
most
because I
people,
couldn't find my purple dress what I want to put on today. I couldn't find
most
my
people
purple dress.
know, most people know purple is a color that represents royalty.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Um,
it is.
but I'm also a Ravens fan,
I
so I
know it
got,
is.
but I really wore it in honor of you, my sister,
I thank you, darling. I
because
thank
I
you.
do
But
know
I do
that
have
purple is one of the colors of your organization.
yes.
Um, and I am so much appreciative of who you are. I'm appreciative of all of the uh, things you have endured
Yes.
and your willingness to share, your willingness to encourage others, your
Hmm.
willingness to put yourself out there.
Yes.
Not a lot of people would do that.
Mm-mm.
But I know something about our maternal family.
Yes.
Friersons, we
Yes.
will get out and do what we need to do.
There you go.
I am so appreciative, my cousin, that you have taken this time to share. And to our listening audience, we want to encourage you. Check out the Lupus Foundation. Is there a website they can go to? D.
Um, but there, we have the our Lambda Sigma Sigma Lupus Sorority Incorporated. We do have a website that if you want to donate, and even if you have lupus out there and you want to really um look into us, um look us up on Facebook. Check out our website. We're Lambda Sigma. I said Lambda Sigma Sigma at yahoo.com. There is um the Foundation for Lupus Association, and you have,
Okay.
but we want you to help us stand in reference to finding a cure for lupus.
We will do that. We will make sure that that information is in our dialogue. Either myself or our president will make sure it's in our dialogue, um, so that they can look and support. Also, to our listening audience, Trophy of Life, this is a recording, live recording. It will be available on our YouTube channel, Trophy of Life. .org YouTube channel. You can go there and see this if you miss any parts of this broadcast or either other presentations that we have had. Feel free to subscribe, like, share. We're all about rendering hope and encouragement. Um, and D, girl, you know I love you.
You
You
know
know
I
I
love
love you.
you. Know I love you.
And I thank you for taking time out of your day to visit with us.
Yes.
If there's not anything else, you got anything else you want to share? If
I
not,
just, I just want to say thank you all for having me. This has been a pleasure and a wonderful platform um to be a part of. And I'm going to say it again. If you want to look into us, we're at Lambda Sigma Sigma at yahoo.com. We do have a website and we're on Facebook. Um, check us out. And we're doing marvelous things in the community and for lupus.
okay, y'all check them out. Don't forget, you can always go back to listen to this broadcast. And again, we say thank you so much for taking time out. D, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Um,
You're
and
welcome.
I guess that's about it. Until next time, God bless. Y'all have a wonderful day and a wonderful week.
You too.
Bye.
See you later.